Welcome to the FCIAC Football Podcast. I'm Dave Rudin, and we're going to forego the introduction today. Usually I've had coaches on all year. This is the first time I want to go fast because I don't know whether my guests have homework or not. But I thought with the big game this upcoming week, going to be Staples' trip to Tiger Hollow to play Ridgefield, and with the Wreckers having the most prolific passing game in the state, if I'm going to have players on for the first time, why not start with the three players who are, along with their offensive line, most responsible for what's happening? And so I've got Caleb Smith, James Hillhouse, and Tyler Clark joining me. Guys, thanks a lot for taking the time.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
All right, day one of practice. You guys getting ready for Ridgefield?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely watched a lot of film this weekend. I know I did, and a lot of the coaches did as well. Just preparing for their type of defense that they run and making the opportunities easy for our receivers to get open.
And their defense played pretty well against Trumbull. That game was actually lower scoring than I think everybody thought it was going to be. Is it hard? You don't look past anyone, but your last three games, you were real heavy favorites coming in, and you outscored your opponents by 189 to 35. So you took care of what you had to do. This is a game that going in looks to be more competitive. Does this week now feel any different? When you have three games, when you know you're the heavy favorite, and it gets to the second half where you're trying not to embarrass an opponent, what's it like now when you have to, get prepared for a game that figures to be more competitive?
I think we go in with the same mindset every week, every day. We just look forward to getting better, and every day we come out to practice with the same mindset. We're not really looking ahead, and we're just making sure we're getting better each day, individually and as a team.
Coming into the season, what realistically, nobody really knew anything about you guys. I don't think anybody knew a lot about a whole lot of teams, because almost every team, it seemed like, graduated big senior classes and few starters returned. And James, you got some good time in the past. Tyler, everybody knew you from diving around for all our videos and the lacrosse semifinals, and then winning the title. And Caleb, obviously with Ryan Thompson last year, you were an unknown. What did you guys think you could accomplish this year?
I think coming into this year, we knew that we knew a couple things. We knew we had a lot of athletes, and we knew that we have a great culture. And no matter who we lose every year, we're still going to be, a great, strong team, because we're practicing very hard and focusing on the little details. And then I think the third thing that we knew, we're just, no matter who's on the field, we're just going to play as hard as we can. And so we thought that those three things combining, we were going to be a pretty competitive team. And none of us want to be just a team that's going 7-3 and not making the playoffs. So we worked hard all off season to, we want to be around in December and making a push.
Yeah, was there a lot of carryover frustration, and you get as close as you can to the state playoffs? You take Greenwich to overtime. Obviously, as heartbreaking a loss as you could possibly have. Was there carryover effect from that? Was there a lot of motivation for this year, or was it too many new guys and not as big a factor in terms of your off-season preparation?
I think we definitely had motivation. I mean, I remember about probably 2 weeks after that loss, me and a couple other younger guys immediately started hitting the field. We were shoveling snow off the field in the winter and just giving it our all, just getting ready for this next season. Not going to let that 7-3 not make the playoffs happen again. We were determined to make sure we were going to make that push this year.
And Caleb, I remember I didn't even know at this point, because we go sports writers from one season to the next. So football, I'm not wondering about who's going to replace Ryan Thompson, but I can actually vividly remember grip it and rip it up in New Canaan and going up to the water tower field. And I actually had a Staples student who was doing social media for me, and I was watching you, and I said, this guy throws a really, really nice ball. And I actually had to ask the girl working for me, who you were. And right now, I think everybody in Connecticut knows who you are because you're leading the state with 2,359 passing yards, but you're coming in as a junior, as a starting quarterback. So that in and of itself is a pressure situation. And you're replacing Ryan Thompson, who did so much for the team last year. What's your mindset coming into the year?
Well, obviously having to fill shoes like Ryan's was a lot. So I worked really hard this offseason, especially in the summer, just trying to get out and throwing almost every day. But something key for me was that I knew I had guys behind me, like Tyler and Bones, who are on this call. I knew that they had my back this entire time, as well as the head coach, Coach Barons, as well as the quarterback coach, that they were there for me. So I had that almost blanket of security that I knew that I was able to make mistakes, which allowed me to not fear to make mistakes, which I think is most important in football.
Any pressure at all?
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, stepping onto that field that first Friday night against Conard was a lot, but after we started playing, I threw that touchdown to Hillhouse, like it just all came back and it was just all smiles from there.
Are you surprised by how much success you've had so far?
I mean, for me, I know that I just try to get these two guys the ball as much as I can and let them do their thing. As you can see, Tyler's almost untackleable, and James really catches almost everything. So it's really easy for me if I just get them the ball and let them do their thing.
What about Tyler and James? You guys have just been such a great combination. Tyler, you're leading receiving yards. You're leading the state as well, and with 1,082 yards. And James, you're sixth. I mean, you guys are just professional football. They're running the ball now. You guys, the balls are just flying in Westport. How do you two work together in terms of being a good 1-2 tandem? Obviously, each of your success helps the other one have success.
I think just in the way our offense works, it's really, but our offense really, our system really suits both of our strengths. I'd say James is probably more of a deep threat, make a catch on someone's head, kind of jump ball receiver, beat him with straight away speed. And I think I'm more of like a slot inside, break down a linebacker, a safety, make a cut, catch a short route and get some yards after the catch. So I think really, I just think our offensive system really suits us for that. And with a lot of our plays, we've got James running a deep route, and me running a short route, which was, that was what happened against Trumbull at the end of that game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I just think seeing both our strengths, it's really hard to come and plan for us because, I mean, you try to double. We saw it later in the season, like a couple games into the season, we start seeing doubles on Tyler, or doubles on me, and then you're letting one of us be one-on-one, and we know we're going to win that matchup. We know Caleb's going to place the ball well, and we're just going to make plays like that, and it's really hard to stop that.
Did the chemistry come together with all of you right away?
I would say so. I think over the summer it started. I mean, I think we started off not as strong, obviously, as we are now, but I mean, just as the season went on, just building that relationship, not just on the football field, but off the football field, has definitely helped us. And I think we have that strong bond now.
Tyler, I know you play a lot of lacrosse. Did you guys do a lot of 7-on-7 stuff, all three of you together?
I personally, we were doing 7-on-7, but I never really could get out to it. Just the football coaches wouldn't let me. They didn't want me to get hurt for lacrosse. But I would always be there and just, watching the team's success. I knew coming into this year, we were really excited with what we had. And then, over the summer, I was doing a little bit of lacrosse, the summer club lacrosse circuit, but, we were still out there
like after lacrosse, I didn't know if the three of you got much time to work together in the summer.
Yeah, no, the summer was definitely a lot. We were out there a lot in the summer, just getting the work in.
Yeah, I didn't really ask this question too many times because I grip it and rip it and 7-on-7, and you got people who just say 7-on-7 is not real football because it's not there are no linemen. But for you guys, and especially when you have a new quarterback and you guys haven't really played together, how much do just 7-7 and all the reps, how much does that actually help you get ready for when you play real football?
Well, I think that especially for us, the 7-on-7 is great, and just getting as many reps as we can, which we tried to do, just helps us in the long run. As you saw, we spent a lot of time, even at practice, just going 7-on-7 against our own scout team, just to try and get those reps of getting the feel for having the connections that I have to Tyler and Bones, stuff like that.
I also think it helps us week in and week out. We get to see different coverages, different alignments. And I think as receivers going 7-on-7 without alignment, it kind of helps us focus on that to adjust to those alignments and those defenses.
James, you've had some of the best blocking I've seen this year by a wide receiver, and I know you sprung Tyler on a couple long plays. You had a couple of great blocks at the Trumbull game that I was at. Is that something that comes naturally, or you have to practice a lot, or are you just instinctive?
Definitely something we practice a lot. I remember last year it wasn't something that was very much harped on, and coming into this season, that was a big focus of ours, and that's something I've worked on tremendously. And and if I do it downfield, Tyler's going to make the play, and if I have the ball in my hands, I know Tyler and the other receivers are going to make the same blocks down the field because we're just going to go hard every play and bury kids.
Yeah, the latest state poll came out a couple hours ago, and you guys were 9th, which is the highest you've been in a while. I was a little surprised. Maybe because I saw you more often, I voted you a lot higher, but you guys didn't get a lot of love from the media in the polls last year, and it even was kind of late coming this year. Is that something you look at a lot, and does it bother you or motivate you at all?
It is something I kind of was thinking about earlier this week, but I think we're just kind of used to it. Coming into this year, like we didn't get any votes. No one was really talking about us. For me, just with the lacrosse, we were ranked, I think 7th in the state last year at the beginning of the year, and then we won the state championship. So I think it's just something a lot of our guys are used to, and we just, like James said earlier, just come to practice every day, focus on the next rep, get better. We think if we do that, we'll be at the top of the state poll by the end of the year. That's definitely our goal.
And that's the only one that matters. So, I mean, the fact that you're 9th right now, do you feel like you're starting to get respect, or you still feel like you're being voted too low?
Yeah.
I think you guys would give me a different answer if we weren't recording this than what I'm going to get from you right now. But you guys wouldn't be competitors if you didn't think you should be higher. Yeah. The good thing is you're going to get the chance to prove that because you're going to get to do it on the field. You're going to get you get Ridgefield, which is 4-4, but they 6 wins might get them in, so they're playing for their lives on Friday, and then the rematch for Greenwich, which everybody's looking forward to. It could be a battle of 1-loss teams. What's the mood of the team now as you get ready to try to wrap up a state playoff berth and then get ready for states?
I think that definitely everyone's hungry. After that loss, I know for me, I saw the tears coming down the seniors' faces last year, and it made me emotional as well to see how affected they were, that they were one step away, one reach away from making that state playoffs, and from what they have had to go through their entire high school career. I know all of our guys are hungry to win that game and really just make a push in the state playoffs. So I think it's a really big game for us.
Yeah. I think. Go ahead, Tyler.
I just think another theme for us is just trying to buy more time to have with each other. We all just love being around each other. I was talking about it with a few people yesterday, but going to practice is my favorite part of every day. I don't know what I'm going to do when the season's over. Well, I'm going to do lacrosse and I'll enjoy that too. But we all just want to buy more time together. And I think really that's a big thing that we're hammering home is every day, every rep, you're buying more time together.
What makes it so special? What makes this team so close?
I think I don't think it's just the stuff on the field. It's all the stuff we do off the field. I mean, I know a lot of guys, we all hang out outside of football. We all talk in school. I know sometimes we all go out to dinner. We have food after practice. And I think it's just those small bonds that you make outside of actual practice that really brings us closer and creates that bond on the field, because then you're going to trust that guy next to you.
No matter what happens in the Ridgefield game, Thanksgiving game is going to be important for you, either to get in or more than likely for seeding. And that game, might be to be able to play a first round home game. Not looking past Ridgefield, that's a tough game, but Greenwich is going to be important. Are you, after last year, is that been a game that's been circled on the calendar right away?
100%. I mean, like I said, I have vivid memories of seeing the seniors on that field after the game, and in the locker room, we all sat down in a circle and just talked after that game. And it really struck me, especially myself. And I know a lot of other juniors that were on the field last year that are now seniors. And I think we've had that circled ever since that last snap of the game. Like, we know that this year we're going to take them down.
Yeah, I also think another part of that is Greenwich is just such a great accomplished program, and any team is going to have them circled on their schedule. We're a Thanksgiving rival with them, so it's always going to be a little bit bigger. But Greenwich is just such a great program that every team in the state, when they got Greenwich on their schedule, they're circling it.
How big a rivalry in that it's kind of like an arranged marriage. It's not Darien, New Canaan. It's not Fairfield or Norwalk teams. Usually it's a game between two really good teams, but how do you look at them as a rival? Or I don't know if Wilton or Trumbull you would consider more a natural type rival. How do you guys view the rivalry?
I just think the Greenwich game is a rivalry because there's so many stories of seniors losing their last game to Greenwich and not making the playoffs, or going back the next year, working as hard as they could so they could beat Greenwich and make the playoffs. And I think it's probably the same thing for them. That it being that last game, a lot of times, when there were 4 playoff classes, it was a last game, in it to, win and you're in type thing. And I think there's just a lot of emotion with that. And it just, it's built up.
I know you guys have some lacrosse players on the team. Tyler, you could answer this and maybe talk for some of the others, but how much did winning the lacrosse state title and that feeling and knowing what it's like to achieve the ultimate goal, how much does that help the team, you and maybe the other lacrosse players on the football team this year?
I think it just, it really just changes the way you have to approach things when you see winning like that and you feel that success. How can you not give your all every day when you know what the end goal looks like? My ring actually just came in the mail today. I'm gonna go look at it after this. But yeah, it was just a great feeling. And I'm a senior now and go out. So every day I'm thinking about that. Like, am I gonna give my all this rep? Because I know what that'll look like if I'm doing that every day of every practice.
Everybody remembers, anybody that follows lacrosse, looks at social media, your dive in the air after you scored the winning goal in the state semifinals. If you catch a game-winning touchdown pass, if you have all the pads and the helmet on, you're going to be able to recreate that?
If the adrenaline's going, you can do some crazy things. I don't even know what was going through my head. I just jumped, and that's a great memory.
Right in the right place, right in front of all our computers.
Yeah.
The media loved you for that one.
Yeah, everyone thought it was staged like that, but I had no thoughts going through my head. I just jumped, and then it just mobbed by everyone. I was scared I was going to die at the bottom of that pile, but yeah, I love to just win a huge game, and maybe if I do that celebration, we'll see what happens. But let's just focus on the win first.
And Caleb, I just found out the other day that your brother's a year behind you, and he's a quarterback as well.
Yeah, he plays quarterback and receiver, so having him is a lot of fun. We definitely spent a lot of time this summer just throwing, just go out in our backyard, come to the field, stuff like that.
So we got to make sure you finish off the year strong so we don't have a quarterback controversy next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, guys, it's been a lot of fun having you on. You guys are certainly entertaining to watch, and I'm sure as quarterback and receivers, having playing for a team that throws the ball as much as you do has been a lot of fun. I knew my allergies weren't going to make it to the end of this, but I want to thank you guys for joining me, and a lot of continued success the rest of the way. I look forward to seeing you guys Friday night at Tiger Hollow.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Let's see if I can get this out without coughing. That's the FCIAC football podcast. I'm Dave Rudin. Again, I want to thank my guests, Caleb Smith, James Hillhouse, and Tyler Clark from the Staples football team. I want to thank Cooper Boardman for the sound editing and remind you can listen to the podcast on all the major platforms. I'm getting out of here before I cough in your faces anymore. Take care. We'll see you next week.